welcome back to the channel. In this video today, we're going to be going over the Stamina Dragonknight for Markarth. I'm having a lot of fun with it this patch. I have changed up a few things, so let's just go ahead and dive into it. My maximum health is 16.7, my max damage is 31.3, the stamina recovery is 1.2 and above, weapon damage is 3.5k, and weapon crit is 50% even. Now, I'm a Khajiit, so we do have a little extra we do get a little extra health and stuff like that. So you might have to adjust accordingly. But I have 7 points into health, 57 into stamina, because you do want 16.5k to 17.5k health. You really don't need any more than that as a DPS. So, build that we're running is the Shadow for extra critical damage. So, champion points. 31 Warlord, 25 Sprinter, 11 Bashing Focus, 64 Tenacity, 64 Mooncalf, 31 Shadow Ward, and 44 Tumbling. Now, your main two is Mooncalf and Tenacity. After that, you do have options. You can either increase the cost of your Break Free or Sprint if you're running a lot, or even Bashing Focus. If you're by yourself a lot, you might want to focus on that. And then Shadow Ward and Tumbling, the roll, dodge, and block, or if you sneak around a lot, you can put in Shade. But you want at least 75 points here for the Treasure Hunter passive here, where you increase quality of items you find in treasure chests. This is a very helpful thing. I mean, it makes it easier to farm for purple jewelry from dolmens. It increases quality of items in treasure chests, lock boxes, anything. If it's a chest, if it is considered a chest, this will increase the items, and you have a chance of getting more. So it's where you would, it can turn a simple chest into kind of an intermediate chest or advanced chest, whichever one's the next step up. I get them backwards from time to time. But, you have a better chance of getting items. So either way, Red Tree, we have 40 into Ironclad, 38 into Spell Shield, 37 into Medium Armor Focus, 64 Hardy, 64 Elemental Defender, 27 Quick Recovery. Now, you don't use shield, so we don't really need anything here for Bastion. Now, Hardy Elemental Defender would be the first two that I would focus on here. This is a more general, I will say the Red Tree is a more general setup that I use throughout 4-man content and solo. Now, when you're doing trials, or if you get 2 trials, there is a better setup for the Red Trees. And most Discord teams, or most teams, will have that list of how you should have these set up in their Discord. If they don't, you can simply find them. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can find them at Outcast. So, but overall, just doing basic 4-man content, Hardy Elemental Defender, and then focus on Ironclad. Once you get Ironclad to 28, you can focus on Medium Armor Focus and Spell Shield, or even if you feel like you need to be able to receive more healing. So, or you can just take Ironclad straight to 40 and then focus on other things. But the choice is yours. Hardy, Elemental Defender, Ironclad. You can't go wrong with getting either one of those up. So, now, Blue Tree, nothing here. 25 Physical Weapon Expert, 51 Master at Arms, 51 Thermometer, 61 Precise Strike, 18 Piercing, and 64 Mighty. Mighty Precise Strike would be your first two, followed by Thermometer, followed by Master at Arms, and then maybe a little into Piercing, and then Physical Weapon Expert. DKs have a lot of dots, so Thermometer definitely overtakes Master at Arms. Now, Master at Arms, the initial hit from your dots, like Venomous Claw and Noxious Breath, this will affect that. So you can either, if you're more focused on the initial impact, then Master at Arms, take it up first, or if you want the more damaged over time effects, if you're more focused on the damage after the initial hit, then focus on Thermometer. But Mighty Precise Strikes is your first two. So, sets. Demise. I've been running Demise for a long time. I absolutely love the set. The only time I take it off is when we have a Warden in the group that is using Swarm. That's about it. So, but I did change from an Infused Axe to a Precise Axe, because crit did take a little hit. If you do not have Precise on your offhand, your crit drops to, I think it's like 46, 47. It's either 47.3 or 46.7, one of those two. So, And then Nern, of course, on your main hand. Poison damage enchant, and then absorb stamina enchant. Or you can just go with poisons. Doesn't really. It's up to you. Now what this does is this comes from Depths Maltar, and it gives us weapon damage, weapon critical, and when you deal critical poison damage to an enemy, you summon the Scavenging Maw, which attacks your enemies after 2 seconds. The Scavenging Maw deals 14.2k poison damage and inflicts minor vulnerability for 15 seconds, increasing their damage taken by 5%. This effect can occur every 10 seconds. So the minor vulnerability stays there for 15 seconds, but it can be recast every 10 seconds, or it can go all proc every 10 seconds. So there should not be a downtime on this set. It should be up constantly. And we're running it dagger and axe, and then jewelry, all weapon damage, enchants, all robust. Now, bloodthirsty infused will of course make this stronger. 2 bloodthirsty, 1 infused, or 2 infused, 1 bloodthirsty. I don't know which one's stronger this patch. I've seen multiple people running different things, so just whatever. As long as it's bloodthirsty and infused, I don't think you can go wrong on if you're using 2-1, 1-2, either one. It works. So, back bar, we have a Maelstrom Bow, defending with a weapon damage enchant. Infused is definitely better. It definitely goes better. Of course, you can see the difference there. You can increase your weapon damage by 319 on just a basic whatever bow, but an infused one gives you 452 extra, so a little over 100 difference in weapon damage with an infused bow. So I just wanted to showcase that. So now what this does is increase the damage volley deals by 430 each tick. Bonus increases by 143 every time volley ticks, up to a maximum 8 times. This is very strong. Now, the monster set that we're running is Celine's. We're running a heavy helmet with a stamina enchant on it, and medium shoulders with stamina enchant. Now you do want Divines. Mine's invigorating. I will transmute this or recreate this, but I'm just being lazy and I haven't done it. But you do want Divines if you can get it medium. What this does, it gives you max stamina. When you do melee damage, you have 15% chance to call on Primal Spirit that mauls the closest enemy in front of you after 1.3 seconds. For 16.8k physical damage, effect can occur once every 4 seconds. Now, this comes from Celine's Web, of course, but you do have other options. You have, let's just go into sets here. You could even go with Teletrix here. When you deal damage, you create an earthquake under the enemy that erupts after 1.5 seconds, dealing 8.6k physical damage to all enemies within 4 meters and stunning them for 3 seconds. That's not very, it doesn't hit very hard, but if you wanted to use that, by all means, you absolutely could. That is probably the weakest one of the monster sets. And then you have, let's see, Crags is the absolute easiest one to get. This comes from Fungal Grotto 1. It's going to give us physical penetration, and when you deal damage, you have a 10% chance to spawn drag limbs that create shockwaves in front of you, dealing 1.7k physical damage every 0.4 seconds for 1.2 seconds. Effect can occur once every 3 seconds. Now, starting out, if you're a stamp DPS, you're not that high. You do still have trouble with dungeons in general. Crags would be the one I would go for. Fungal 1, you can get in there. Honestly, even you can do this before 160. So there's no reason once you're 160 that you should not be able to get through this and get this monster helmet. You just run shoulders. If you get a medium helmet, shoot for heavy shoulders. It doesn't have to be a heavy helmet. And then of course, Celine's Web here. And then you have Tempest Island. You have Stormfist Mask, which gives you recovery. And when you do damage, you have 10% chance to create a Thunderfist to crush the enemies, dealing 1.8k shock damage every 1 second for 3 seconds to all enemies within 4 meters, and a final 10.7k physical damage when the fist closes. This effect can occur once every 8 seconds. So, now, Celine's and Veldreth are both really good. Celine's probably top set, followed by Veldreth. This gives you weapon damage, and when you deal damage, you have a 20% chance to spawn 3 disease spores in front of you after 1 second. It deals 13.5k disease damage to the first enemy they hit. This effect can occur once every 8 seconds. This comes from, as you can see, Cradle Shadows. That dungeon is kind of a pain to do on Vet. So, starting out, I would shoot for Crags and then go straight into Celine's. Celine's is the top monster set. for stamina DPS. So I would go with this. So just go into Crags, straight into Selene, or if you got some friends that can carry you, go straight into Selene. So, or get one of each. Can't go wrong there. Having backups, trying out different things, it's always great. Now, our second 5-piece set that we're using is a new set that came out with Markarth, and I'm actually loving this set. It's called White Knights. White Knights Defiance. And we're running it all on the body, all in Divines. But truth be told, it is probably easier, because it is an overland set, to get this in jewelry, purple jewelry, and then just get Scavenging Demise on the body pieces, because it comes from Depths of Maltar. And purple jewelry on Vet might be... Depths of Maltar is kind of a pain to do on Vet. So, you know, just kind of get 3 pieces in Divines for the body here, and then rock what Witch Knights and on it. I'm getting tongue tied. And then rock Witch Knights on the jewelry, and then Scavenging Demise on the body. Just switch them up. Now what this set does, it gives us weapon damage, and it increases your weapon damage by 356 against enemies inflicted with a poison damage effect. Now this will be a lot more, especially when it's golded out, and this is one of those sets that I'm really thinking about golding out. So I just don't know if I want to put it on jewelry or do it in the body as well. But I'm absolutely loving this set. It is fun. So now with the poison effect, I'll get to that here in a second, but you know, we have so many poison abilities that it's just really easy to see. So our main spammable is Rapid Strikes. I've made this rotation as easy as possible. It is extremely easy. It's not very complicated at all. It's not even any issues. But what this is, Rapid Strikes is our main spammable. We flood an enemy with steel battering them with 5 consecutive attacks that each deal 1.3k physical damage. Each hit increases the damage of the subsequent hit by 3%. The final hit deals 300% more damage. Venomous Claw. Rake an enemy with your claw, dealing 4.6k poison damage, and an additional 16.2k poison damage over 14 seconds. Poison seeps into the target and deals increased damage the longer it lasts, dealing 20% more damage every 2 seconds. Enemies hit by the initial hit are afflicted with a poison status effect. So the moment you hit them with this, you're going to get that extra weapon damage. So just keep that in mind. Noxious Breath. Exhale Corrosive Blast to enemies in front of you, dealing 7.2k poison damage and an additional 12.6k poison damage over 14 seconds. Afflicts enemy with Major Breach, reducing their physical and spell resistance by 5.9. This is good to have if you're kind of running around on your own, because this will give Major Breach. So, but if you've got a tank that's using Puncture and stuff, then the enemies are going to have Major Breach on them. So, just a side note. This won't stack with Puncture. Just it's the same debuff. So, Barbed Trap. So Sharpened Blade Trap at your location, which takes 1.5 seconds arm, lasts for 1 minute. When triggered, the trap deals 4.68 physical damage, an additional 16.7 physical damage over 18 seconds, and grants you minor force, increasing your critical damage by 10% for the duration. Now, starting out, until you get this fully leveled, it only lasts for 12 seconds. And then once it gets all the way up, it will be 18 seconds. So, just keep that in mind. It won't start out at 18 seconds after you morph it. You will have to build up to that. Camouflage Thunder. We don't really care for the first effect. While slot, you gain Major Savagery, increasing your weapon critical rating by 2.6. You also gain Minor Berserk for 5 seconds. After you deal critical damage from an enemy's flank, increase your damage done by 5%. Flawless Dawnbreaker. Arm yourself from Meridia's Sacred Sword and dispense their Retribution, dealing 11.6k physical damage to enemies in front of you, and an additional 13.9 physical damage over 6 seconds. After activating, your weapon damage is increased by 300 for 20 seconds. Now, starting out, the ultimate that you're going to use is Standard of Might. This is the main ultimate that you will use. But if you need resources, it's fine to hit this. And honestly, even in a dungeon, I was in the group was made through Dungeon Finder. So you do get that little buff for the Dungeon Finder group. Healer was not running, or Lyrium, or Spell Power Cure. My weapon damage got up to 6,000. That was with the defending bow on the back part. With the infused bow, my weapon damage got up to 6.2. So, and that was with activating Meridia's Flawless Dawnbreaker here. So, your weapon damage can get very high. Back bar, Endless Hell. That's it. Launch multiple arrows into the sky to rain down, dealing 1.3k physical damage to enemies in the target area every 1 second for 12 seconds after a 2-second delay. This lasts for 14 seconds. Igneous weapons. Charge you and your group's allies' weapons with volcanic power to gain major brutality and sorcery, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 20% for 54 seconds. Resolving Vigor. Our nice little heal. Let loose the battle cry, stilling yourself with resolve and healing for 13.6k health over 4 seconds. Then we have Bar Trap and Camouflage Hunter again. We have Camouflage Hunter on both bars. And then Stendar Might, call down a battle Stendar dealing 3.7k flame damage every 1 second for 20 seconds to enemies and apply a major defile to them, reducing their healing received and health recovery by 16%. Standing in the area increases your damage done and reduces damage taken by 15%. An ally near the Stendar can activate the Shackle Energy, dealing 8.8k flame damage to enemies in the area and immobilizing them for 5 seconds. Now, I'm using regular trash pots, so this is why I'm using this. It keeps me from having to use my weapon power pots throughout normal and most basic, normal DLC or even vet dungeons, regular vet dungeons. If I'm in a DLC dungeon like Lair or Moon Hunter, something like that, then I do switch to Essence of Weapon Power Pots, and I tend to put Circle of Protection here. Or I'll put something, you can even go with Flames of Oblivion. I'll put that here. Oh, I'll put that there. So, this works wonderfully. It doesn't affect because you use Magicka, but it scales off of our highest offensive stat. So this will work off of our weapon damage as well. Don't worry about the Major Prophecy because we're getting that from Camouflage Hunter. So we're really just wanting this for that extra damage. So if you're using weapon power pots, put that there. If you still want to use trash pots, just use the Igneous weapon. That's it. Now, when it comes to the rotation, it's very easy. You're just going to buff up. Drop that. Endless Hell. Light attack in between, Noxious Breath, Venomous Claw, Rapid Strikes. You're going to be able to fire off a lot of Rapid Strikes in between each one, and I did not pop a pot, I popped 2 BS. Alright, so, and then 14 seconds. As that ends, you're just going to back bar. You'll be able to see all your counters up there. So normally, when it gets down to about 6 seconds on those, I will switch over and do Endless Hell again, fire off a couple more Rapid Strikes, and then start reapplying my dots. Now I know they wasn't down, but I was just demonstrating. So now this set is very nice. I like it. You can pull the numbers. The highest I've gotten it to was 36, blue screened. So these were just some quick ones that I just wrote off before I started doing the videos, just in case I didn't want to get booted again in the middle of the DPS test. But 33 was with the infused bow, and 30k was with the defending bow. That was also just like this. Nothing changed there. I used trash pots, and I used Igneous weapon. Now, when you drop Igneous weapon and use Essence of Weapon Power Pots, you will hit 30. You can get up to 36k. And you can break 30 from 36. You can move up to, it was almost 39. I was right up under it. It was 38.7 if you use crown pots. So this is a very simple rotation. It is not very complicated at all. And you can pull 30k plus with this, just depending on how you have it set up. Poison injection, you can go with poison injection too if you want to use that on your bar. But the thing is that Endless Hell lasts for 14 seconds. Noxious Breath, I want to make sure I get this right, lasts for 14 seconds. This lasts for 14 seconds. This lasts for 18. So, but Poison Injection here lasts for 9 seconds, or 10 seconds. So, it's a really weird situation. So you'll either start to overcast your abilities if you want to do that, if you backbar, or you're going to have to do a lot of weapon bar swapping. I wanted to keep the rotation as simple as possible, so I ended up dropping Poison Injection, and still didn't have to, the numbers were still there. Numbers are a lot higher if you're using Flames of Oblivion. This lasts for 15 seconds. So this puts everything kind of very similar. 14 seconds, 14 seconds, 14 seconds. And this, Flames of Oblivion is 15 seconds. So it puts them on the same timer. The only thing that's not on the same timer is Barb Trap, but 4 seconds isn't bad. That allows you to wear off 2 more Rapid Strikes, at least, and then drop another Barb Trap, and then go back into it. So, yeah, it's very easy. The rotation, I couldn't make any simpler and still pull at least 30k or so. So, but 30k, this isn't the hardest hitting setup, but it's going to allow you to complete any vet content. It's going to allow you to even get into vet trials. Some of the Craglorn ones, I think most teams require 30k minimal, maybe not for hard mode, but this could help you get in there and get your in-game setup if that is your goal. Or if you just like this and want to keep it, then by all means, you pull numbers to get through almost all vet content. So, hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know some of your favorite changes from this patch. So, anyways, that is the video, and until next time, take care.